Hey, it's Sharon and Mark again. We're 4x2 Travel. And we love to
Cruise and travel.
travel,
And
especially
cruise.
cruise. And so we have this channel where we would love to answer your questions and help you to travel well and have a great experience. So this is a third in a three-part. It's not like a five-part trilogy I've heard of, but this is the third part of Embarkation.
Okay. And embarkation is
Getting on the ship.
getting on the ship. Okay.
So our first one talked about everything or a lot of the things that happened
prior to
getting to the terminal.
okay.
And then we had the second one, the check-in process of going through the terminal from the curb to setting foot on the ship.
On the ship. Okay.
So then today or now, we're going to talk about everything that happens once you get on the ship, because there's a lot of special things that you need to be aware of during those first few hours.
Okay.
And one of the things that we talked about, I had neglected to have one of these handy, but these are the cards that they
Okay.
give you, and this is the card,
A key card, a room card,
an everything card.
an everything card. Don't lose this card.
They can replace them, but the deal is that even when you get off the gangplank, the first time you set foot on the ship, there's going to be a person there with a laptop. He's going to scan or tap the card and match it to the photo they have in the system. But this card is what you use for everything on the ship, whether it's going to eat, except for the buffet, any purchases, anything you're doing when you get on or off the ship.
Okay.
You use the key, and it's the card to your room. So have that handy. And as we said, there used to be, I think I actually have one here. These are all of our, got one with a hole in it. Because there was a time when people punched the hole for lanyard.
They'd even do it at the front desk.
Yep. Can't do that anymore because they have this wire
Electronics
electronic
inside.
thing in there for tapping. But
But you want to think ahead of time. How are you going to keep track of your card? Do you
Right.
have pockets? Do you have something on the back of your phone that you can put your cards in?
or some other kind of lanyard, but just be aware you have to
Yeah.
be taking it out
And handing
fairly
it.
regularly. The other thing is on here is your assembly or muster station.
Okay.
Because as soon as you get on the ship, they're going to ask you to go there. So what in the world is a muster station?
Is that where you take your hot dog?
Or it's Colonel Muster?
In
no.
the conservatory?
It's so in the very, very, very unlikely event you have to abandon ship and get on a lifeboat. You don't go straight to the lifeboats. You go to your assembly station first. And part of the rules of the sea is to do a certain amount of secure or safety instruction. You may have had to, in check-in, ask to watch a safety video.
Okay.
It used to be on the smaller ships, you would actually report at 3 in the afternoon or whatever to a spot on the promenade.
Where the ships, the
Lifeboats were.
Lifeboats were. Okay.
So some of these ships aren't designed quite like that, and you get an assembly point. The last time it was, for us, it was in the local, the restaurant. And basically what they're going to want you to do at the very least, it's kind of going back and forth whether they have this 3 o'clock, everybody gets together for more instruction. But at the very least, you have to go to your assembly station, show your card to an attendant, and get it swiped. And they just have record that you at least went and theoretically know where your assembly station is located.
Right. Okay.
So that's the first thing you're going to do
All right.
when you get on ship. Now, we talked about your big bag. You hand it off to a porter.
Right.
You're going to see that
Back at my room sometime.
maybe after supper.
Yeah, okay.
Is the reality. Most likely, in most cruises, your room's not going to be ready when you get on the ship. If you get on the ship with the first bunch of people,
Okay.
when they first start boarding, your room's not going to be ready. They just got rid of 2,000 to 4,000 people and have to flip all those rooms.
Okay.
So there's certain situations, the ship just came out of dry dock, there was nobody on it, maybe your room's going to be ready. But for the most part, it won't be. Which means you need to schlep around your carry-on.
Okay.
And we have seen people in the buffet, in the main dining room, people carrying their carry-on with them. But there's another option.
Okay. Which is, what's the other option?
Yeah, what is the other option? Tell us, dear.
Oh, I think you can go to like a bar or someplace and check your bag, right? There's some public-ish place where there's like a barrier and you talk to one of the crew members and give them your bags, and then they give you like a
claim ticket. And they'll put a thing on it. It's all secure. But the last few cruises we've been on, there's always been a lounge or bar where we could take our carry-on and leave it there, at least for a couple hours when we went.
That
for
way,
lunch.
if you want to go, to lunch or something,
Right.
you're not having to deal with all of that.
Right.
Okay.
So, and any crew member, as soon as you get on board, you can just ask them, hey, where's the bag check? And they'll tell you which place to go to.
Yeah, that's
to
pretty
do that.
handy.
Yeah. Then there's lunch.
Lunch.
If you get on at 2 o'clock, maybe not, but we usually get on with the first group of people. So one of our first things is to have lunch. So where can we have lunch?
Well, of course, the buffets.
Yeah.
And
Buffets
I
are
don't even
good.
know if the local is, if
I
that's
think-
a muster
Well,
area. I don't know. Or
yeah, I want to say.
I think most of the buffet, local-ish type things.
Yeah.
And then at least one of the dining rooms, right?
One of the main dining room, complimentary main dining rooms will be open. And again, all you have to do is ask an attendant and they'll point you in that direction.
Right.
So you have some really good options. Now, there are those that, in the buffet,
It's good food.
from our perspective, the buffet is great food. Sometimes with a smaller ship, it's harder to find places to sit. Personally, we enjoy going to a main dining room
Right.
and
It's
starting our cruise.
nice having a linen tablecloth and napkins and that kind of stuff. But
Yep, and being waited on, as they put the napkin in the lap and look out the
maybe
window.
not for lunch, but
I think they do.
All
But anyway, I have that cheesesteak and fries
There you
for
go.
our first lunch adventure. And then, of course, you get through lunch and it's time to explore the ship
right.
and check it out.
So what do you do?
Well, you can walk all over the place until you're and try to explore the different public areas. Go up to the pool deck, maybe find out. Now, one thing, the other thing I didn't have here. Well, actually, excuse me one second. Is every day they print a freestyle daily.
Right.
Is what they call it. So this is for day 4. But there's even one for day 1.
Right.
And it has the hours of operation for the different eateries and what's going on this day. And now every night, one of these, your steward will place this on your desk or bed every night for the next day. But we might not get into our room until
After the show or something.
well, after 1, 2,
On
whatever.
that first day.
On
yes.
that first day.
So you might
I
want to
thi-
pick one up.
I'm pretty sure you can pick these up in the atrium area where it's guest services and everything. And we kind of like to pick one. If we can, we'll grab this and take it with us to lunch that first
Right.
day so we can sit there and look at what's going on. Because there might be a sail away
Oh yeah.
party, barbecue even up on the pool deck. You might want to just pencil that in that, hey, I want to be up there for when the ship leaves and they have this party. Or even scope out where you want to be on the upper deck to see the city
As you sail away.
as you're sailing away. So you can grab the daily early, and it's just a really good thing to hang on to with all the different things going on. Again, your room might not be ready to get into until mid-afternoon. They'll make an announcement and say the cabins are ready. They might, again, your big bag might not show up into your room until after supper.
Right.
So again, keep that in mind with what you want to have in your carry-on. The other thing, especially we like to look at this first. Some of you have been so much with your planning, you've already booked all of your evening meals. You've made reservations for the different shows online. We usually kind of wait until we get on board the ship.
Right.
The reality is times can change.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that first daily, they might even have when the big shows are during the week. So once you get on the ship, if you haven't already made reservations, you can go and they'll tell you where you can go to either deal with restaurant reservations,
or the box office,
the box
for
office
the shows.
for the shows, and take care of those kind of things. Also, if you have, again, status, their latitude points system. Once you reach a certain level, like platinum, there are certain benefits, which are there could be a cocktail party with the crew. There could be a wine tasting event. What are some of the other events? Behind the scenes,
Right.
ship tour. You need to sign up for these. And you do that at the
Cruise Next.
Cruise Next desk.
Okay.
So in that atrium area, the center area of all the ships where you have guest services, shore excursions is another thing you can do,
Right.
is book your shore excursions. There's also a desk that says
Cruise
Next. That's where they sell the Cruise Next certificates, but it's also the Latitude member desk. That's where you would go to say, I want to go, I'm a platinum member, I want to go to the Wine Around the World event,
Right.
and sign up for that. And you want to sign up for that before they get too full.
Right.
So you've done all of that, you've walked around the ship. Finally, there's an announcement. You can go to your cabin.
Right.
And so off you go. And most likely you're going to meet your room steward. You can check out your room, find out where you're going to put everything. But what are some of the things you might ask your steward?
Well, I am kind of particular about my pillows, so I'll make sure that I have the right fluffiness. I might ask for a mattress topper. We don't need coffee right away, but if you're a coffee person, you could ask for a coffee maker, and whether you want regular or decaf, it's usually they're kind of like flat tea bags, but with coffee.
Yeah, it's a pad or whatever, but
Yeah.
they don't have enough coffee makers for every room.
Right.
So it's your steward that you will ask early on, hey, I want a coffee maker.
Right.
And I want coffee. And if it's a long cruise, be aware that they sometimes run out of those. It's a 2-cup coffee maker is all
Right.
it is. But again, you may want to bring some of your own coffee, understanding that they may well run out.
If you have a CPAP, you want to make sure that the distilled water that you've ordered ahead of time is there. If for some reason you didn't order ahead of time, I would guess you can let your steward know and they'll probably be able to find some.
Yeah.
Some people have talked about needing to have like an extension cord.
Yeah.
So you just want to probably figure all of that out before, sooner rather than later.
Yes, and I've read different things where I think you can even ask for an extension cord when you ask for the distilled water
Oh,
and
okay.
check-in. But there are those that just bring their own extension cord, and that's a whole nother video on the power in your cabin, the kind of plugs you have, uh, the cords you're allowed, and everything else. But that's a whole nother discussion, which we can have. But that kind of, all right, so we've talked, you've listened to us for a while. So now we'll give you, because you've been stuck with us for this, so we're going to give you one of our favorite tips, things that we like to do on our, as we embark and get on the ship to begin with.
Right.
Now, as we said, there's a lot of people carrying around their carry-on bags. They've probably put their bathing suit in their check luggage. The hot tubs are really nice, but they get kind of packed.
Yeah.
Except,
On that
oftentimes,
first day.
the first few hours of getting on the ship. So we now stick our bathing suits in our backpack or whatever.
Right.
We do lunch. We go up there, make sure the hot tubs are running. Go to a public bathroom and change into our swimsuit.
Right.
And hang
Then you
out.
take your key card and you pick up a couple of towels.
That's right. You can get the towels there now. You may need to hang around on the pool deck until the cabin's open because you're going to be wet. But it's just we find it a fun, relaxing way to start our cruise.
Yes.
It's just enjoy the hot tubs before everybody else does. So
Yeah.
hopefully all of you aren't on our next cruise. And,
And now you know our secret.
and you're going to be in the hot tub before us.
So do you have any secrets? What do you like to do the first time that you cruise, or what would you imagine doing?
As soon as you get on the ship.
Yeah.
You know, because that's when your cruise actually, for me, starts when we first set foot on the ship,
Yeah.
not necessarily when the ship actually departs.
Right.
So those are some answers to some questions, basically from our experience, and we hope by answering those we will enable you to cruise well
Yeah.
and have a wonderful adventure. And hopefully you have already booked
Your next
your
cruise.
next cruise. And so in the future, we're going to talk about other questions like, how do I get my clothes washed? The whole laundry, that's a big question.
Yeah.
What to pack, as we said, the power issues in the room and on the ship. And we're going to go on the Encore, going to Southampton, and it's dry dock and coming back. So we'll also have a special video of all the changes that occurred during that dry dock here in November of 2024.
Or December.
Well, most of, yeah, I mean, it comes back December the 3rd, so most of the work is late November. But, yeah, there's a lot of wonderment and stuff about what's going to happen on that dry dock.
Right.
So we will check it out
Yeah.
before and after.
So we
I'm sure
hope
that-
that you like this video. Leave a comment. Let us know where you're going on your next
Yeah.
cruise. Subscribe and ring the bell if you want to be made aware of the next video. And
Yeah.
we'll see you on the next show.
All right. Have an awesome adventure.